What if you could actually empower your developers and application teams to have full control, and your security team could still enforce all the rules that they needed to? But what if you could do that fully automated, right? What if instead of police officers having to manually check the speed of every car that drove by, we could automatically have the system do this, right? In the world of vehicles, that would be there's a technology called governors, right? So commercial fleets, they put these little chips inside a vehicle. It knows where the vehicle is. It knows the street by GPS, and it can actually enforce the vehicle speed limit. You cannot go over 35 or 55 or 65 in this area. It will not let the vehicle, right? We can apply that to our software delivery pipelines today. So what does that mean? Well, we're not enforcing speed limits, but we're enforcing things like required workloads. Are you running security scanning, DAS, SAS testing, vulnerability penetration testing? Are we depreciating risky versions or vulnerable versions across our organization? Are we encouraging standardization, best practices, consolidation, right? Enabling change management shifts or secrets management, right? These are all great opportunities that an organization can enforce policy for both existing and new project teams that they've never even heard of without any additional manual work or burden. What does that look like? Well, in this case, we have a rogue actor here who is trying to access production credentials by manipulating the credential context they're requesting access to. So they're running a dev deployment, they're running on a dev branch, and instead of requesting dev credentials, they're trying to get sneaky and request production credentials, right? This is a big problem for organization. They might be leaking those credentials. They might be exploiting those credentials. We're not sure what they're up to, but we know it's not good. Fortunately, our organizational admins here were able to apply, on top of the lovely Word doc that we have that outlines our policy, they were able to automate it with CircleCI's policy engine. So without getting lost in the syntax here, this basically says, I have a rule that's called production context can only be used on main. It applies to this set of projects. And if ever a project violates this rule, I want you to hard fail that build, right? Well, why does that matter? Because if we think about the end-to-end system flow, in order for a change to reach CircleCI, it's been through a VCS system. Every major VCS today provides you the ability to do branch gating and merge checks. So we can say the only way to get on to that main branch, that default branch, is by peer reviews, approvals, like manager sign off, whatever it might be. And until they do that, you're not allowed to access production secrets. So basically, as a developer, you know what? You can do whatever you want because I know you're only operating in this isolated little blast area where you're not going to have access to credentials, systems, or services that could pose a risk to the organization. So go ahead, iterate to your heart's content. This developer violated that policy, though. They were trying to get sneaky. What happens? CircleCI will not even build it. We don't even entertain the conversation, right? We spit out an error to the developer in the UI that says, I'm sorry, here's a policy violation you had. You can customize that language, in this case, being really helpful to the application team, right? Here's the policy that we have. Here's the violation within your workflow, the specific job and context that are the problem. Go ahead and address this and we'll keep building for you. You'll see the right-hand side is kind of the commits in GitHub where I'm showing whether I'm trying to be sneaky or not. But as soon as the developer does something that's against policy, we block it. As soon as the developer is in line with policy, again, we allow it to build. And you can apply this without ever having to predefine that for projects. You do it at the organizational level. This, to me, is one of those exciting leap forwards.